Okay, let's get started. So sit yourself onto your lift and then just come into a good cross-leg position. Just have a little wriggle about. Just make sure that you're sitting evenly and that you feel like the seat bones are firmly placed down on the ground. Lift up into the chest and draw your shoulders down away from your ears. So the more you can elevate the heart area upwards, the more you can draw the shoulders down, the more it feels as though you can inflate into the chest. And the more non-resistantly you can inhale, the more energy you glean from each inhalation. So just greedily inhale and then allow the out breath to just be a relaxing deflation of the lungs. So allow there to be a significant movement of the chest when you inhale and a relaxing deflation action with the exhalation. Bring your hands into Namaste, bring the elbows away from the armpits. Have the hands away from the chest so that you're not restricting the expansion of your chest. Your hands are floating in front of the chest. And then close your eyes. Just continue to inflate non-resistant lungs, allowing the chest to expand with the inhalation and relax with the exhalation. Just focus on the feeling of expansion with the in-breath and deflation with the out-breath. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest. Just spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in your heart area as you release the hands down to the knees, palms facing upwards, connecting the tip of the index finger with the thumb, gesture of intention towards wisdom, intelligence, and peacefulness. Taking that intention into our practice. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Just hold onto your knees. Elevate the heart area upwards. Try and really expand the chest. Lift up into the chest and then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across your ribs and your shoulders. Aiming to maximize the chest expansion with the inhalation, just allowing the chest to expand with the breath. Use your out breath to turn a little more deeply. Try to think of the out breath as a propulsion agent rather than an opportunity to just slump. And then come back to the center. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the left. Just continuing to listen to the breath. Continuing to allow the expansion of the inhalation. Using the out breath to propel yourself around a little more. And then come back to the center. Just hold onto your knees again. Just go back to the seat bones. Just observing whether there is a feeling of levelness or whether you've disturbed the seat bones, or maybe they were never level. Just observe levelness if you have it, or adjust if you haven't. Maybe have a wriggle about, just observe that energy. At the same time, observing balance, allow the breath to just inflate to its maximum. Have your armpits clear of your arms, so bend your elbows out to the side a little. Remembering to breathe from the bottom of the lungs to the top. To empty the lungs from the top to the bottom. And then to expand that space of breath. So rather than breathing into the bottom of the lungs all the way up, try and breathe into the perineum at the apanic region. Breathe from the perineum, fill in the lungs from the bottom to the top. And then from the exhalation, from the collarbone down to the perineum. So from the perineum to the collarbone, fill in the air in the torso up to the collarbone, and then with the out breath, the collarbone down to the perineum. So it's almost as though you are inflating the spine. So the out breath becomes more significant because you breathe from the top of the lungs all the way down to the perineum. Again, just observing if you're sitting level. Without disturbing your breath too much, come down onto your knees and have your hands as wide apart as your mat. Spreading the fingers, spreading the palms, and then bring the feet as wide apart as your mat. And then come up into dog down, and then go back to that apanic breath, breathing from the perineum to the collarbone with the inhalation. And significantly from the perineum, from the collarbone to the perineum with the out breath, using that exhalation as an act of propulsion. So the end of the out breath becomes a breath of exertion, of propulsion. And then step your feet forwards, come up into the standing position. And then get some blocks for your hands. And come into half uttanasana. So have your feet as wide apart as the mat. Turning your toes inwards, have your hands on your hips, lift up into the chest and then hinge at the hips. And then just find the blocks. And go back to that apanic breath. So it goes without saying, hopefully, that we're not just breathing with jelly-like bodies, we're extending deeply on the inside, observing the balance of the pose from the angle of observation and activation. We're filling the body with energy with every breath. We're using that out breath, especially the end of the out breath, to really activate the muscles. So we lift the thighs, we lift the kneecaps, we hit the shins back, we turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, we lift the seat bones, we project the chin and the chest forwards. Do your pose at the level that feels right, so you can change the level of the blocks, or you can go down all the way to the floor. Keep the activation in line with the breath, especially the out breath. Keep the chest open for the in breath. So although we're working with a focus on the breath, go through the typical act of observation, activation, just scanning the body from the feet to the legs, to the hips, to the torso, to the arms, to the neck, to the chest, to the head. And work for evenness. It's always useful to go back to the feet to observe where your feet are connecting to the ground, to observe where your weight is, where your balance is, and then work from the feet up into the legs, into the chest, into the arms, into the head. And then bring your hands into your hips, bend your knees on the way up if you need to. And then come up into Tadasana. So in Tadasana, continue to breathe from the perineum all the way to the collarbone with the in-breath, and from the collarbone down towards the perineum with the out-breath. Bring your arms out to the side so that you can broaden the chest. Bring your arms forwards, turn them all the way out, and then bring them into namaskarasana. Walking your hands up your back, maintaining that apanic breath as you go. Winging the elbows back, lengthening the elbows into the heels of the hands so that the palms come together. Maintaining your apanic breath. As long as there's no reason why you shouldn't hold the breath, just observe that moment of silence at the end of the in-breath, at the end of the out-breath, that kumbhaka moment. Don't extend it, just observe it. hands, just using every breath as an opportunity to bring in the energy of the universe into the lungs, into the blood. Turn the palms all the way out, spread the palms. Just using every moment as an opportunity to observe and activate. Observing where the body is in 3 dimensions, even though chances are you probably can't see very much of the body because you're looking forwards. Just feel the body in 3 dimensions. Feel where your feet are, and your legs, and your hips, and your tailbone, and your abdomen, and your ribs, and your shoulders, and your upper arms, and your forearms, and your palms, and your fingertips, and the neck, and the head, and the skin from the face to the feet. All the time perpetuating that apanic breathing. Bring your arms out nice and wide, in towards the chest, and then step or jump your feet apart for trikonasana. Bring your arms out, turn the left toes in, the right leg and foot all the way out. Just plant your feet. Go back to your apanic breath if you've forgotten it. And go down on an apanic exhalation. So stretch up, turn the chest to face the ceiling. Turn the abdomen to face the ceiling, but look down at the floor. Look down at the floor on the big toe side of the foot, about a foot or so away from the foot. But keep turning the chest to face the ceiling. Keep the arm reaching up, like you're extending out of the heart area into the arms, maintaining the apanic breath. Using each out breath as an act of propulsion. And on an in-breath, come up to the center. Just swap the feet around. Just stay for a few breaths. Just recovering. Just using the time in the pose, not just to focus on the breath, but to feel the pose from the inside, to feel your resistance, to feel where there is a lack of action, where there is action. So wherever your next apanic exhalation comes, come down to the left side with the apanic exhalation. And again, reaching out from the heart into the arms so that you're not landing heavily on that left hand. Turning the chest and the abdomen to face the ceiling, but look down at the floor. Maybe as you stay, you feel a lightness in the bones, especially at the end of the apanic exhalation. And with an exhalation, bend the front knee if necessary. Bring the hand down onto the big toe side of the foot. Bring the other hand onto the little toe side of the foot. And then step yourself into Adho Mukha Svanasana, dog down. Maintaining your apanic breath and that act of observation and activation. That continual cycle. If your hands feel like they slip, then just take hold of the sides of the mat so that it feels more firm and secure. And then come down onto your knees. Just sit back on your heels for a moment. And then observe the energy that you have released into the limbs. So the act of sitting back on your feet allows the legs to recover. As you stay, observe the energy that flows into your legs. Observe the energy that flows up into the chest with the in-breath. Okay, get yourself your cushion that you sat on at the beginning, and then just sit yourself on that. Just bring your feet wide And then bring the right leg in, pointing the toes, bringing the top of the foot onto the floor with the heel directly lined up with your belly button and your spine. And then get the other foot, pointing the toes, bringing the top of the foot onto the floor, and then have the heels in line with each other so that the knees come down. So siddhasana. So you might want to just stay with the heels in line with each other like this, one in front of the other, or you might want to post the front foot through the calf and the thigh, and then get hold of the big toe and pull it through so that it stays between the calf muscle and the thigh, so you create a binding action. So once you have found your position, just hold on to your knees, just observe your breath, just observe that you are sitting evenly. Just going back to the apanic breath. We can do a little bit of Viloma. So Viloma in a seated position, we often do it in a reclining position, but in a seated position, it's very energizing, very calming. So Viloma stage 1 is just to initially just observe that apanic breath. The in-breath raising from the perineum to the collarbone, and the out-breath from the collarbone down towards the perineum. And then the first true stage of Viloma is to interrupt the in-breath, like you're kind of climbing a ladder with that in-breath, and you stop on each rung of the ladder until the lungs are full. So you take a little in-breath and then hold it for a moment without any grip, and then without exhaling you inhale a little more and hold, and then breathe in a little more and hold. So if your typical in-breath is maybe 10 seconds, then your in-breath may be 20 seconds, and then just a normal apanic exhalation all the way down. So an interrupted in-breath, normal apanic out-breath. So just do a few apanic exhalations, apanic inhalations. And then we always begin pranayama with an exhalation, so an apanic exhalation. And then we'll do 3 or 4 interrupted in-breaths. So cycles of, I mean. So with each apanic inhalation, the body wants to breathe a little more, but Just sit in that moment of kumbhaka, allowing the body to absorb energy that's in that incremental breath. Don't ever overhold just a second or two. If you need to do a normal breath in between, then do. And then bring the breath back to a normal rhythm. Normal inhalations, normal apanic inhalations, normal apanic exhalations. Just a few cycles of normal breathing. And then when you've recovered, just release your legs. Just stretch your legs out in front. And then bring your legs wide again. And then just bring the left leg in first. And then the right leg. Again, you can tuck the toes or just stay like this so that the knees are connected to the ground. And then we'll just do, running out of time a little, so we'll just do a couple of cycles of stage 2. And stage 2 is a normal apanic inhalation, and then you stop on the way down, just interrupting the out breath. So we'll just do a few of those, just a couple, just maybe 3. I keep on saying a few or a couple. Let's just do 3 or 4 of those. So just normal inhalations to start off with. Normal exhalation. And then a normal inhalation. And then we'll just interrupt the out breath until the lungs are empty. If you can, lift Mula Bandha, lifting the anal sphincter up to the diaphragm region. And then bringing the breath back to a normal rhythm. Normal exhalations, normal exhalations. You can release mula, bandha. And then gently release the legs. Stretch your legs out. Pushing the heels away, pulling the toes towards your kneecaps. And then come down onto your knees, just stretching forwards into Adho Mukha Virasana, just grounding the brain onto the floor. Just bringing the forehead down, keeping the seat bones connected to the heels. Just grounding your energy. Okay, sit back on your heels. Just come into cross legs for a moment. Just hold onto your knees. And then turn to the right side. Just bringing the breath back to normal. Just normal inhalations. Normal exhalations. Just feeling how your energy grounds into the body, feeling where you connect into the ground, feeling that the seat bones are evenly placed as you turn. And then come back to the center, hold onto your knees. Lift up into the chest and then turn to the left. Again, just grounding your energy with the seat bones. Observe how perhaps you've brought about clarity of thought. Maybe the light around you looks clearer, cleaner. Coming back to the center and then just come down onto the floor, coming to supta, baddha, just directly on the floor, supta, baddha. Just laying yourself down into the ground. Just normal breathing, normal in-breaths, normal out-breaths, no more apanic breathing, just normal inhalations, normal exhalations. So you're going to run over by a couple of minutes, hope that's okay. Just normal inhalations, normal exhalations. Draw your knees in towards your chest, just pull your knees towards you, just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then just sit yourself up, just for a moment or two, just come down onto the floor, just a very brief shavasana. Just take your glasses off if you're wearing them, and then allow yourself to just release into the ground. Just let go of the muscles of the arms and the legs. Allow the physical body to become heavy. Observing the energy that we have inflated into the physical body, radiating from the bones into the muscles. Radiating into the organs. Radiating into the flesh and the skin. Just basking in that feeling of energetic lightness. Distributing it down into the toes and into the fingers and all the way up into the top of the head. And then when you're ready, just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, just bring yourself back into this pose of shavasana. Bring your knees in towards your chest, just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. Just a gentle massage on the spine. And then roll onto your right side, just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just a final cross legs with your hands in Namaste. Just close your eyes, draw your breath in through your nose and down into the abdomen. Just the shamanic breath that brings consciousness to the energy you have released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the reclining poses and the breath work bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created around the heart region. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. Connect the tip of the index finger with the tip of the thumb. Just a gesture of wisdom, intelligence and peacefulness that we can carry into our day. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though you really lifted your energy and given yourself good, positive energy to put into your day. So thank you very much for joining me.